When you clicked on this video, I don't expect you thought you'd be bored to tears and need to take a little nap.
And yet so many professional websites seem to do just that. Bland and boring. Good news. You don't have to create a boring website to look professional. Injecting fun and personality into your website won't make you look like you don't know what you're doing. In fact, having a site with bland, office, businessy images will harm your brand and stop you forming those all-important connections with your audience.
But how can I make my website look more professional?
There are some surprisingly simple things you can do to professional up your website. Give yourself more online authority without boring your customers to tears. Here are 10 things you need on your website to make your website look pro. 1. Get a custom domain name. When you first start out, it can be tempting to go with the free website name that you get with WordPress.com or Wix or Squarespace. But free is good, right? Well, no. If it is obviously a free domain name, your business will look cheap and inexperienced, and it will harm your rankings in the search engines too and stop people finding you. You want all that hard work you are putting into creating a great online experience for your customers to count from day one. Choose a domain name that is memorable and relevant to your business without being a chain of search terms. LeedsDentist.com is not going to get you ranked higher for dentists in Leeds and will stop your loyal customers from searching from your business direct. Number 2, add a favicon. Sometimes it's the little details that count. A favicon is that little icon on the top of your browser tab that indicates what website is open. A pro website will change that icon to reflect their brand. So having the standard WordPress, Wix, Squarespace favicon can make your website look really cheap and unfinished. So get that sorted. Number 3, get SSL. Ever been shown that warning insecure site notice when visiting a website? A little bit off-putting. SSL is an easy way to offer security to your website visitors and give them peace of mind when visiting your site, especially when they're buying online. It stops those nasty warning screens and gets you that little safe site padlock in the top of your browser. And people look for that now. Google looks for it now. So make sure that you've got SSL on your website, and that means it's secure and it's something that both people and Google look out for. So don't be penalised for not having it on your site. Number 4, keep it simple. The temptation is always to squeeze everything onto the home page in the hope that something on there will tempt visitors to click through. But when it comes to websites, we really have the attention span of a squirrel. We pick out headlines, we scan blocks of text for keywords, and then press the big button at the bottom. So if you clutter up the page with new stuff, oh, this is new in my shop, I want you to look at this, how about this blog? We won't be able to pick out the most important message on each page, and we're just likely to wander off. The big pro websites cut their homepage info to a few big words, short paragraphs of text, big buttons to guide us through to take an action. So you've got to be really ruthless with the amount of text on each page to make it super clear what action your visitors need to take. Just don't confuse people by trying to pack too much in, particularly on the front page and particularly in the header. Which leads me nicely onto the 5th. Use white space. Give room for your text to breathe. Nobody wants to feel like they're reading an essay. So chop it up into little bite-sized chunks with lots of space between them. And then add more padding around those sections of text. It is so much easier to scan and it will really capture the interest of visitors to that page rather than making them think, oh, I've got to read reams of text. Number 6, only use 2 fonts and make them really good ones. I always suggest have a character title font that reflects your brand and then an easy to read body copy font, and then stick to them. No adding that gorgeous swirly font you found because you fell in love with it, or choosing a random title font to make your text really stand out or your new product stand out, because it just ends up looking really tacky and unprofessional. Stick to your branding fonts both on your website and off your website, and people will really bond with your brand, and you will make your website look 10 billion times more professional. And speaking of tacky and unprofessional, choose your colours wisely. You don't want to look like a closing down sale. Choose your colour palette and then stick to it. The temptation is always to add a new bright neon pink to highlight that new product, and it may be pretty strong temptation, but it will make your offer look really bargain basement and far less professional. Pick one of your colours to act as your action colour throughout your website, and that will guide people to take the actions you want them to take. It will cut down the confusion and it will really build your brand. So choose your colour palette and stick to it. Number 8 is another one about the look of your website. And as you can see, having the right website look is really going to give people the impression of professionalism. Upgrade your images. Images can make or break a website. Blurry, badly cut, or pixelated images can really bring down the quality of your website. Getting the right high quality images on your site is such a powerful way of creating connection, communicating your message, that you don't want them to be saying cheap, old-fashioned, not genuine and unprofessional. But you don't have to rush out to get a professional photo shoot right away. There are loads of free and cheap photo sites out there where you can find professionally shot images. The trick is knowing what to look for, so you can avoid the cheesy stock photo. And yes, I have a quick video to show you what to look for and where to find it. Number 9, it needs to look good on mobile phones too. Most website builders are responsive, which means that the text and the images rejig themselves depending on the size and format of the screen. But that doesn't necessarily mean that your website will be a good experience for visitors on a mobile device. Text can be too large and split between lines, or too small and hard to read. Images can make no sense. Buttons can be too fiddly to press, and menus may do really odd things on mobile view. So mobile is more and more important these days, as over half of web traffic is now from a mobile device. That's a lot of people. You need to make sure that your website looks good and gives visitors that professional website experience, no matter how they are viewing it. Grab your mobile phone and check it out. Navigate through your site and make sure you check all the links, menus and buttons, and be truthful with yourself. Is it looking good? Are they getting the same great experience from your website on a little screen or a big screen? And lastly, but certainly not least, be yourself. I know this may be squeaky bum time, especially if you don't like having your face against your brand and it's all about you, and that's a bit scary. But it's time to show off exactly why you and your business shine. What makes you different? What makes you stand out in a crowd of other similar businesses? Why should anybody choose your brand over another? Not all medical sites have to be green. Not all accountants have to be blue. Not all consultants need to show that handshaking shot or a photo of a random city. Yeesh. A professional website is a site that connects with your audience. And the best way to do that is just to be yourself. Consumers really look for that personal experience, no matter what you're selling, and connection with a brand that simply isn't possible if you're trying to look like everybody else in the market. There is a reason that the About page is the most viewed page on any website. So don't be scared to brand your business to reflect your values and the passion for what you do. If you love purple, just go for it. Want to create a business that feels warm and welcoming to people? Then use those soft colours and handwritten fonts. And if you are building a personal brand, then people need to see you. Invest in some professional pictures that show you off as being you, doing what you do. No staid business headshots welcome here. Your website will stand out, make a more impactful impression on your visitors, and help you build a more cohesive and professional brand. And having your branding nailed will make your marketing so much more professional, both on and off-site. It's not rocket science. A few little tweaks and some solid branding choices can really make the difference between an obviously DIY'd and a professional website. If you feel your website is unprofessional, then it probably is, and it is time to do something about it. Let me know in the comments what your biggest professional website struggles are. Like, subscribe, and remember, building a professional website is as much of a journey as building your business.